right, so welcome to another episode of Adding Perspective with Josh. I'm Josh.
Coach Nrgy.
And I am hip hop artist Black Egypt.
Okay, here we go. So we got another, another fun episode. In this episode, we're going to talk about why is it like so difficult sometimes to just truly be honest with the person that I guess a person would be with in their relationship sometimes. Why that honesty, I guess, so hard, like so difficult. And the first thing that I kind of considered whenever I kind of, I guess, put together that question was like, honestly, it is hard sometimes, right? From a relationship standpoint, because I think sometimes I guess you'll be afraid of how that person will take it. Like, how would they take that level of honesty? Because everybody takes honesty differently, right? So I guess when you guys kind of consider, I guess, that question, what do you think? Who wants to go? Who wants to go first? Who we got? Like, don't try to do all at once.
My direct answer is people are just uncomfortable with the truth.
Okay.
It's just what it is. We are, even me, very uncomfortable with truth, like actual truth. We want to hear the lie, and that was my first answer when I seen it. It's just we are uncomfortable with truth. So.
Yeah, it's funny. It was funny, right? Why do you think people want to hear the lie, though? Right? Like, that's the first thing I heard. Like, why do you think people want to hear a lie, though?
It's more comfortable. It's a comfort thing, and I think it's something that's through growth and the older you get, I think we get comfortable with telling ourselves a lie. Yeah. Because we don't want to look at that reflection in the mirror, in a lot of ways in one. So, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So what you think, Nrgy? What you think?
A few reasons, but the first one that comes to mind is embarrassment, possibly being embarrassed by what the truth is.
Uh-huh.
And I guess that can kind of go along with what Black Egypt was saying, the first part of what he was saying, it being uncomfortable. Some people are embarrassed to have to be honest with their partner for fear of the consequence of whatever it is that they have to be honest about.
Yeah. And I think I kind of see that too. And just in these situations, sometimes they can be big situations, they can be small situations. But what's interesting here is I'm gonna go here, right? So I'm gonna go here. So what's interesting is that when it comes to particular subjects, the honesty level, it gets real, right? Like you don't really want to say it did, right? So what I found that some of these areas would be is when someone is lacking in certain things, sometimes it's hard to express that to that person because you don't want to hurt their feelings. You don't want to, cause an argument, right? Like you don't want to cause a situation. So to me, I don't think there's a very easy way around having the difficult conversation, right? Like the difficult conversation and just being honest with the person, right?
Yeah.
True. But I think it's so natural to not being comfortable with the truth. I think unconsciously and consciously, we want to hear the lie. I think it's really simple, because we're not even willing to be truthful about ourselves, let alone someone else telling us about who we are. So especially when someone's brutally honest, right? That's going to cut some skin because I know I can be very sensitive. like very sensitive, you know, and I've grown to have more thicker skin. And that's like working jobs or management telling me to do something and being like, who are you talking to, just from my past experience and how I grew up. But I think it's the tough one to swallow when, especially when you're in situations and you want to be honest with someone, but you don't know how to say it or when they can kind of receive it in a gentle way. Because it seems like even if that's possible, they're always going to get offended. So, or feel offended.
Yeah. And but I guess by what you're saying is it either way, whatever the message you have to relay, depending on the person, it may be difficult.
Mm-hmm. True.
Yeah. So the thing about that is though, like, how do you get around that though, right? Like, how do you get around the difficult part?
Yeah.
Like, do you think that there's a way of kind of like getting around that, or you just have to bite the bullet and do
it? How do you tell an uncomfortable truth? That's the question.
That is the question, right? Like, do you think that there's a way around that? Like, or do you just gotta straight up just tell somebody, hey, this is how I really feel?
That's still, it varies. It's so many different variables because of what the topic is. I think it honestly varies on how you communicate, what you're communicating, the intention behind it. You know, there's a lot of different variables, but I think you have to know who you are first and balance out who you're dealing with, and then find that that balance on how to communicate it to them where they understand. Sometimes it is brutally honest. Sometimes it's just kind of breaking it down to them in pieces. So there's different variables, right?
Yeah. So I have a variable for you. Okay. So what if a person was pretty much talking about their past situations, right? And they were discussing body count. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were discussing this, like, in an open forum, like, this is how many people I've been with, this is how many people you've been with, or whatever the case may be. Do you think that that's something for a person, like, do you be honest about that? Or is that something like you just got to deflect from, right? Like, is that something to be honest about?
Nrgy, what you got?
Oh, don't leave. Come back. No. This is your question, sir.
Like, but that's what I mean, though, because some people they may not want to disclose those things, and sometimes it may make the other person insecure if they actually heard that or whatever. So even for that subject, is that like a give it to them straight, or is that like don't say that, just avoid the question in general?
Wow. So out of all my years of age, in any relationship I've had, I've never been asked that question. But if I was asked that question, right, my response would be, I honestly, I would probably initially be like, I can't remember. I don't know. I don't think about it like that, you know, because whatever number I say, what they say, times it by 2 or 3, something like that. I actually probably would not tell the whole truth. Yeah. Just knowing me, I wouldn't, you know, if it's 1,000, I'm gonna say 50. That's really high. Hold on. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. That was an example, everyone. This is an example.
No, you good.
Exaggerated.
Or was it?
Yeah, it's exaggerated. I'm not that guy.
Honestly, but that's the thing, though. Like, does that really matter, though? Like, especially if you're in like a new relationship, does your past really matter? Like, did it? I mean, to me, I think no. But what do you think about that question, Nrgy? Like,
does your past matter?
No, the question about if someone asks you the number of people that you've been with, is that like something that you're 100% honest about, or is that something you just not honest about that?
Yeah, so I'm honest about it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to, but I'm not expecting someone, even if they do ask it, it's not going to be something that we discuss in, the first 2, 3, 4 dates, once I see where I'm becoming serious with a person,
Yeah.
and when I see that, okay, we're on to something, then absolutely, I'm going to be honest with them, because if we're pursuing something, then I want you to know what you're getting. I want you to know who I am. If you have a problem with whatever the number is, then it's best that we find out earlier on, than 10 years down the line, and then it starts to disgust you or whatever, however you may feel about it. Yeah. So I am going to be honest about it, but I'm not going to answer that question on like the first few dates or anything like that. So for me, it really would depend on the timing of when that question or when that topic comes up. Once we have established some rapport with each other and we see that, okay, we are serious about each other, or we're at least getting there, then for sure. I mean, it is what it is, whatever I've done, that's what I've done. I can't change it. And, just got to answer it. Yeah. And then I know my past history of how I've been active, so I'm not embarrassed by it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, my opinion is the same as yours. I'm not embarrassed by my, past stuff. I'm not, right. Because that's why it's called the past. Right. Like, it's not like you're consistently doing whatever you were doing in the past. So it's like, it's okay. Like, everybody's an adult. Everybody has a past. So it's like, it's okay to kind of talk about that kind of stuff. So, but that kind of goes towards like the next thing too, when it comes to like being in a committed relationship and or marriage or something like that. And again, you talk about some of the things that someone is lacking, right? Because a lot of times in committed relationships, certain people don't want to hear that. Don't want to hear that part. And I'm not sure if that's because of like insecurities or maturity to a certain degree. Because to me, I think that a person's age does not determine maturity like it doesn't. Nope. So just because a person is of a particular age, you still have to have a little gray area there. Like, you still have to put in a little bit of, okay, let me test the waters. Let me see if this person can handle what I'm about to tell them. So would you say that, a lot of the things that come with relaying hard messages is delivery?
Yes.
Like delivery.
Yes. Yes. Delivery on the recipient's end.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so back to what Black Egypt was saying earlier, as far as why it can be tough for someone to just be honest. For me, the way to get around that, you were asking him that question, the way to get around that is to not be concerned about how the other person is going to take it. Yeah. That's if we can get out of that mindset, if we cannot worry about how the other person is going to take it, while at the same time being mindful of our delivery, being brutally honest without being rude, without, trying to cut someone deep. You can still be brutally honest and be very truthful without hurting someone with your delivery. The truth itself may hurt that person. However, if you deliver it with compassion and thoughtfulness and being kind, then that will help the recipient receive it in a better way, to where the deliverer doesn't have to be so like, oh my God, I really don't want to talk about this, because of that feeling that the deliverer gets is due to that person kind of like trying to almost say that the other person is going to take it the wrong way. but they don't even know, like let that person take it for who they are and how they'll take it, and not be concerned about that, but still being mindful of your delivery.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. But would you guys say that I guess timing and place is another part of that too?
Yeah, you have,
Of course.
We deal with a lot of stuff, if someone's just now getting off of work, they had a shift that was very long, very, it took a lot out of them. Maybe as soon as they get off is not the best time. Or if the kids are screaming and, they're stressed out, you can kind of tell that they're stressed out. That's probably not the best time, so timing is part of it as well, in my opinion.
Patience.
Why would you say patience?
Sometimes, because sometimes you may have something you want to say and it's eating you alive, but it's still not the right timing. So now you're learning some forced patience.
Yeah.
Because like, how do you have a change of conversation with someone when this is continually on your mind? So that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
So what I got from Nrgy was when she said not necessarily caring about the person's response, just say it, just give them the truth. I think a lot of times it's insecurities from that person who's actually delivering, right? Because we're judging ourselves. So that's another dynamic of it, right? Is not to judge ourselves so harshly off the response or the feeling, right? That comes from that, because it'll paralyze you,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm saying I do this, I do that. But that's good though. That's good. That's good.
So basically, like keeping an open mind in regards to what's being said to you, and not taking it personal. Right?
Yeah, because it's a bigger picture. There's always a bigger picture, and it's uncomfortable, right? To be so honest, especially on that particular topic, as far as that personal conversation about the lack of, right? That's very personal, and it can be. It's more paralyzing to the person actually about to explain what's going on. But if you don't address it, it's gonna always come up, and then you're gonna numb it. You're gonna keep numbing it, and until you're too uncomfortable, and at that point, it can become destructive.
Yeah.
So to your journey, it may, pause your progress. So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Something interesting that I heard that you guys said was patience, right? I think you said that, right? So when you talk about patience, what time is a good time to say something difficult, right? Like, so does it mean that you have to just pick a time or pick a place to actually have a difficult conversation with this person? Or is that something that you could, I guess, preemptively tell the person that you need to have a conversation with them at some point? Like, would you say that you can just, give a person forewarning when you have to have a hard conversation with them, like something like that, so that they're prepared for the conversation? Do you think that will work?
Yeah, I think both, depending on who the person is that you're about to deliver the information to. Because everyone communicates in different styles and in different ways. And at some point you will learn the other person enough to learn which of those two methods would work best for them. So some people will receive it better if you kind of set it up.
Yeah.
Other people, they're fine. If you just say, hey, got something to tell you, let's talk. And you go right into it. So.
Yeah. Because I think that I guess technique would probably work a little bit better if I guess depending on the subject matter,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But probably even more so the personality style. Kind of going to what's considered the DISC, the different personality types. You have some people who are, the drivers that are dominant, and they just want it straight, straight up and down.
Yeah.
You have other people, I believe it's the S and the C's, who you kind of have to, baby them a little bit. You have to massage it and soften it up for them before you can deliver it to them. So I would say it's more so personality styles as opposed to the subject, because no matter the subject, if you're delivering it based off of the person's personality, then it's going to be received properly.
Yeah.
This conversation is very psychological to me. Like, it's a lot of psychology involved. It's like the language of the mind, trying to figure out how to deliver and receive the truth, right? It's a lot to it. A lot of getting to know a person, right? Or trying to figure out different body language. It reminds me of, like, if someone's listening, it reminds me of something called neuro linguistics programming, which is the linguistics of the mind. And it's hard to explain in so many words, but it just reminds me of that study of the how the mind works, how you respond to certain things unconsciously. So if anybody listening want to learn more about that, definitely get a book called NLP, Neuro Linguistics Programming, and it definitely help you kind of guide you on how to how you respond to people. So just wanted to throw that little nugget in there.
Yeah.
That's
a
big
little emotional intelligence. Okay, look at you.
It's a good book. It's a good book.
That was a big nugget. That was huge, because it definitely talks about the conscious and the unconscious mind, which is everything when it comes to communication. Yes. Awesome.
It is. So did anyone ever consider when delivering, I guess, difficult messages to a person, it would be this detailed, right? Like, it would have this many pieces to the equation by just saying a few simple words to another person, right? Like, should it be that difficult though, right? Like, should it?
I think it should. I do. I think it should. I think we're all so different. And it's not about communicating a difficult truth. It's just communicating. Like, in any space. Some are more difficult than others, but when you learn certain things about communication, it comes down to so much. It comes down to understanding yourself first, right? Not to judge yourself. Understanding, again, like we were saying, people's body language, their tone, their eyes, their facial expressions, how they think. It's more to it, right? And vocabulary is important, so there's a lot that goes into it. But I think it should be, because it trains you to be a better communicator.
Hey, you were right. It does. It does. Communication is a skill. It is. It's a very much so skill. But that's the thing, though. Like, to me, in order to deliver a difficult message, especially to the person that you're with, you have to truly know the person, which means that you have to spend a ample amount of time with the person to really know who they are and ask a lot of questions. So I think that even with that question, though, to me, and this is just my opinion, whatever you have to say to a particular person has to be said. So no matter if it's if they take it bad or even good, from a relationship standpoint, it's not good to hold on to certain things, certain information, because it prevents the relationship from growing. And it prevents like the individual and then also the other person from actually learning anything different. Right?
Yeah. I think it's important that we don't take on the responsibility of how the other person is going to receive it. The responsibility falls on us of how we communicate it to them, how we say it to them, how we give it to them. That's where our responsibility lies. And as long as we're doing it with, out of our heart, out of kindness, compassion, all of those other things, then, I feel that we have done our part in communicating the truth as delicately as possible, but still being 100% honest.
Yeah. How about you, Black down there? How about you?
I would first thing that comes to mind is to stop judging yourself. Be intentional about what you say. Be respectful. It reminds me of a quote from Charlemagne the God. He said, "Nobody cares about the truth when the lie is more entertaining." It just kind of popped in my head. But I would say, let ego go, right? Sorry. When you're asking me a question, it's like this, right?
I'm the same way.
I wrote a lyric and it goes, "Don't let your ego be the god of your emotions." Nice. And it brings me to that, like, don't allow your ego to control how you approach very important times to communicate, right? Just letting go of your ego. Don't judge yourself. Love yourself. Understand what that means. When you're able to really genuinely love yourself, the world just becomes a better place to evolve. So
nice.
All right. So that's a perfect ending to episode 3 right there.
Well, can I say something for the record?
Yeah, go ahead.
I like the truth. I know, like earlier you said nobody likes it. I like it. I prefer it, and it makes things so much easier, because when people aren't telling the truth, it starts to complicate things, and things just don't have to be complicated. And you can cut out a lot of the complication by just being honest. So I prefer the truth. I'm speaking for myself.
Like that. I do too. I do too.
But again, the vast majority of people receive the truth differently, right?
Yes.
They receive the truth differently. And I think we all have our opinion on how we would receive it. Like for me, I'm like y'all. Like, I would just tell me what it is. I'm good. Like, just tell me what it is. But like I said, I think a big part of this conversation and the perspective of it was showing individuals different ways of navigating that type of situation. And I think that we hit it up. We knocked it out of the park. We did a real good job at that question right there. So hopefully, the listening viewers got a lot out of it. Got a lot out of that question. But to me, yeah, like I said, this is a great ending to episode 3. Again, adding perspective with Josh. My name is Josh.
Coach Nrgy.
And I am hip hop artist Black Egypt.
There we go.
Yeah.
Next time.